Inner Peas, good evening. Hey, Will. Hello, Inner Peas. I don't see Okie Dokie or Sketty Nona yet. I'm sure they're here. I haven't seen a. I'm in shock. I actually received an announcement. Wow, that is a rarity. Good evening, Cement Shoes. Rykart. Hello, hello. I hope we all had a wonderful weekend. Someone at YouTube must have slipped up on the notifications. Let's see if I got a notification if I'm live. I haven't even checked yet. Yes, I did. I got notification that I am live. Stranger things have happened, I guess. Who knows? Maybe they'll fix the system someday. A lot of times with every time I've reached out to YouTube and told them that their notification system is not working correctly, that they've always said the same thing. Repeat it back to me. You have to have your notifications for everything the same way. Your cell phone, your tablet, your PC, they all have to have notifications turned on. If one of them you turn notifications off on, it overrides everything. And I'm like, why would people want to do that? And why is it that way? Why can't you just turn it off on that device? That's their version of it. Don't know if that's true. Good evening, Teddy Rose. Will they unsubscribed me again? This is the third time. Purple, good evening, and Cement Shoes. I've had that happen to Lamont at large. It keeps on unsubscribing me to his channel. I have no idea how many times I'll be like wondering like what I wonder what happened to Lamont. Maybe he's been busy. Maybe he hasn't been uploading. And then I'll go type Lamont in at large, in the search box, and I'm not subscribed anymore. And I'm like, then I subscribe again. I look on the screen and see a big red word subscribe. Yeah, well, I've seen it too. If it's not red, if it's red, got a problem. So I'm going to show up as a new sub. Well, that's okay with me, Cement Shoes. I will greet you as a new sub. Thumbs up for Will. Thank you. Appreciate it. Scrolling up, see if there's anybody I missed. It's wonderful to see you, Inner Peas. It's always wonderful to see Inner Peas. Get this up on the screen here and get me in my little window. Hi, little Will. Little Will in the little window. What's weirder is I got my notification, but they unsubscribed me. They're all nuts at YouTube. Yeah. But at the same time, though, Cement Shoes, 73% of those who actually watch my videos, according to my analytics, are not clicking, on the right hand side where it has your subscriber list. They're showing, people are clicking on the suggested or the next video. 73% of my subscribers watch, oh, look, it's suggested. So on days where I put out a short and a video, it will only suggest one over the other, depending upon which one's getting more feedback, thumbs up or whatever. But it may not even show you two videos that are released in the same day, or other people, not just you. But 73% People are not even clicking on the the actual tab on the right side, to see if there's new content from that creator. At least for me, they're clicking on the top bar, the suggested next video. Both Lamont and I live on the road. You both do. Yeah, Lamont is, what does he have, a Plymouth Voyager? Yours is just a little bit bigger. Yeah, I'm to right now as I sit here. I'm not sure how many different channels Lamont has. I know of 3 channels that he has, but I think there might be a 4th or a 5th, because I've heard references to 2 other channels that are not, Lamont Fascinating Graveyard or Lamont Dorsey, his full name. But he's referred to 2 other ones, and I don't know if he still has those channels or not, but I know of at least 3. I hear this is happening with other channels too. Janice, good evening and welcome. That gets on my nerves that I have to hunt down videos from people that I've subscribed to, sub to since 2018. I'm so, all right. So I don't know if anybody remembers Mike Brown. I've been a subscriber to Mike's channel since he started the channel, and it never comes up in my suggestion. It never tells me. I never get notification when he's live, and he's done 2 lives back to back now. There was a hiatus between his actual videos and his most recent lives, but at the same time, I've never gotten notification for any of them. And when I clicked on his actual channel and then I click on video, it doesn't even show me that those 2 lives are there. It's only when I put his name in the actual, the search box, does it come up and show me that the last 2 videos he did, or the last 2 pieces of content, were live streams. Don't stab us, Little Will. I'm not going to stab anybody. All right. We all ready to get this party started? Let's go. First question for tonight. Music trivia, May 8th, 2022. First question for the night is, which blues recording artist from below killed a man while on a labor work farm in 1955? Which blues recording artist from below killed a man while on a labor work farm in 1955? Was it A, Canned Heat, B, Lightning Hopkins, C, Eddie Sun House, or D, Muddy Waters? Who killed a man while he was on a labor work farm in 1955? Welcome, Amy. Oop, forgot to turn the ambient music off there in the background. Sorry. Mute that sucker. Forgot to turn it off. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Good evening, Jennifer. Welcome to Music Crime Trivia. Which blues recording artist from below killed a man? I know my logo is over the top of that "a man" part, while on a labor work farm in 1955. Going Lightning Hopkins, bees. Just guess. Which one Killed a man on a labor work farm. And if you're wondering, all four of them have served time. Ray Charles. Who was it that I was watching an interview with somebody? Was it The Rock? Dwayne, Dwayne Johnson. He's convinced that Ray Charles isn't blind. B, lightning could kill. Which blues recording artist from below killed a man while on a labor work farm in 1955? Any guesses? We got a lot of B's so far. And tonight I'm only streaming to YouTube and to Twitter. I'm not streaming to any other platforms anymore. If you're joining us from Twitter, let us know. Tough one. I was 2. Purple's going with A, canned heat. Lightning Hopkins. Dirty Blues is by far his favorite, my favorite one. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. This is an actual cassette tape. Lightning Hopkins, Dirty Blues. What year was this recorded? 1983. I keep it in here in the same section with all my Led Zeppelin. If I can get the stupid thing back in there. Interviews was 39 again in 1955. All right, question number 1. Which man, blues recording artist from below, killed a man while on a labor work farm in 1955? The correct answer is C, as in cat. Eddie Sunhouse. Eddie Sunhouse killed a man while working on a labor work farm in 1955. Question 2. Complete these lyrics. How do you tell those lies? Look me in the eye. Living a double life. Tell me, how do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night? Complete these lyrics. Is it A, caught up in your story? B, your lies become you? C, rage overtakes me? Or D, F your lies? Complete the lyrics. How do you tell those lies? Look me in the eye. Live in a double life. Tell me, how do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night? Happy birthday, Janet. I just had 39 again this week. Well, happy birthday. Well, let's all sing Janice happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Janice. Happy birthday to you. And if you want to do it more seductively, you do it as Mr. President, like Marilyn Monroe. Happy birthday. I always got a kick out of that version. But happy birthday either way. You can't hide your lion eyes. Your lion eyes. Yep, I'm now whopping 69. Yikes. You're 69 young. 69 years young. All right. Question number 2. Complete these lyrics. How do you tell those lies? Look me in the eye. Living a double life. Tell me, how do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night? The correct answer is A. Caught up in your story is the correct answer. A as in apple. These are the lyrics from The Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. Stephanie Fisher, good evening. Question 3. Which blues recording artist was charged, convicted of shooting a man in the leg? Later, after his death, it was proven that the Klan framed him for it. Which blues recording artist was charged, convicted of shooting a man in the leg? Later, after his death, it was proven that the Klan framed him for it. Was it A. Bukka White, B. Sam Teener, C. Muddy Waters, or D. Eddie Son House? Which man was framed for shooting a man in the leg, and it was proven after his death that the Klan had actually done it, had framed him for it? E. Bubba Gump. Which recording artist was charged, convicted of shooting a man in the leg? Later, after his death, it was proven that the Klan framed him for it. Kelly P., good evening. Welcome to Music Crime Trivia. We are currently on question 3. 3 of 20. Purple is going with D. Smith Shoes A. Reichart D. And inner peace, Bubba Gump. Bubba Gump. Which blues recording artist was charged, convicted of shooting a man in the leg? Later, after his death, it was proven the Klan framed him for it. Yeah, that was the time we lived in. A, just like his name. Jennifer Hill going with A. We got 2 A's and 2 D's and an E. 13 people here are watching, but nobody else is guessing. Taking a shot in the dark. You're only playing against yourself. True story. Today I was thinking my birthday coming up and couldn't believe I'll be turning 55. Then I realized the numbers were off, and after recalculating, I'll be 54 for a minute. 54. So that's what, 60, 67? Oh, 7, 69, 68? 1968 you're born? Or 69? It's somewhere in there, I think. I'm just trying to roll it back in my mind from 1971 be 50. So 4 more. Going back 70, 69, 68, 67. 1968. I've done that, Stephanie. Janice going with C, Muddy Waters. Which blues recording artist was charged convicted of shooting a man in the leg? After his death, it was proven the Klan framed him for it. Which blues recording artist was this? All right, the answer to question 3 is A as in apple. Not only is it a cool name, Butka White, but it's actually the same one. Now, if part of how they found out that there was the Klan who actually framed him for it was when the FBI infiltrated the Klan in the late 70s. They found out through oral history, people talking about this case, and they found out that this man was actually set up. He did not get a trial by jury. It was a bench trial. So a judge actually heard the case, convicted the man, and the whole system was just a racist plot against this man. Gayla, good evening. All right, question 4. Who am I? You might not know my name, but I recorded songs with the Rolling Stones, Little Richard, Elton John, the Beatles, just to name a few. I was a keyboard player most of my career after I destroyed my voice. I was charged and convicted of insurance fraud and sentenced to 3 years in prison. After my release, while I was on home arrest, I recorded 8 more songs while on home arrest with Bono from U2 on his solo album and with Tina Turner, Cyndi Lauper. Who am I? A. Billy Horton. B. Billy Preston. C. Billy G. Tagg. Or D. Billy Cornwell. Good evening, Lieutenant RN. Who am I? 3 years in prison for fraud, insurance fraud. E. Billy Bob Thornton. Uh-huh. I like French fried potatoes. Uh-huh. That was a great movie. Swing Blade. We had John Ritter in there as well. B. Stab in the dark, says Purple. Billy did it. Yep. Whoever it was somebody named Billy, that's for sure. Radcar's going with B as well. Stephanie Fisher, B. Good. Lucy's on a walk. How are you? Who am I? That's a lot of really famous, musical artists that he recorded music with. Rolling Stones, Little Richard, Elton John, the Beatles, Bono, Tina Turner, Cyndi Lauper. A lot of the powerhouses, um, of the day. But who is it? I only know the name B. Who could this be? And happy Mother's Day to everybody out there, all the mothers, and to everybody else, just because, if you didn't have children, doesn't make you any less of. He's right. We don't know his name. My first without mine and my first birthday without her was yesterday. I did nothing to celebrate. I couldn't. Well, cement shoes, I'm sorry about that. Wow, B, says Jennifer. Feel like an orphan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way, Inner Peace. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, all the same. Who recorded with all of those artists? All right, question number 4. Which one of these Billies recorded with Rolling Stone, Little Richard, Elton John, The Beatles, Bono from U2, Tina Turner, or Cyndi Lauper? The correct answer, everybody, is B as in boy, Billy Preston. Billy Preston recorded with all of those artists and a lot more. A lot more. Anyways, all the same. Sorry, Inner Peace. Many of us are both open. My mother and my father passed. I have no one left in my life. I'm sorry about that, Purple. But you have the community here, so it's not much of a consolation, but we're here. Okay, question number 5. I just want to be left alone. I make music you would never understand or love. I had a run in with the law over public intoxication and drugs. My last arrest was for being a felon with a gun while I caught an 11-year sentence. Who am I? Is it A, Jim Croce, B, James Taylor, C, Arthur Lee, or D, Vince Neil? Thank you, Purple. Finally got one right, says Reichart. I just want to be left alone. I make music you would never understand or love. I had a run-in with the law over public intoxication and drugs. My last arrest was for being a felon with a gun. I caught an 11-year sentence. Who am I? Being a mother is the best job in the world. Raised 3 sons, best of times. All 3 were here today with my 3 under 2 grandchildren. How lucky I am. I'll tell you how lucky I am. My son, this morning, for the last week, we've been working on saying Happy Mother's Day for his mom for today. And of course, he's been practicing it every day and he's been saying it to her every day. But today, he woke up and he came into the bedroom and I said, tell your mom. And he walked over and crawled up onto the bed and said, Happy Mother's Day. It's so good to hear him say it. But he's been practicing it. And so for the rest of the day so far, he's been saying it. He's been saying it. That I guess he's expecting a hug or a kiss every time he says it now. So he'll probably be saying Happy Mother's Day tomorrow as well. CRD, not Croce, not Taylor. Question number 5. C. Inner Peace. Taco. Mothers have the most difficult job in the world. Croce. Guessing A. Angela. Vor? Is it pronounced it Vor? Welcome to Music Crime Trivia. We are on question 5 of 20. I'm the best. I'm a kitty mom. I have no kids. Meow. Still a mom all the same. That's not the answer, but Will isn't saying it right. is insane. The well, you have 5 fur babies. That's cool. Been watching the feral cats. That's cool. Huh. All right, question number 5. Just want to be left alone. I make music you would never understand or love. I had a run-in with the law over public intoxication and drugs. My last arrest was for being a felon with a gun, and I caught an 11-year sentence. Who am I? The correct answer to question 5 is C, as in cat. C. Arthur Lee caught an 11-year sentence for being a felon with a gun, and he was intoxicated at the time as well. Not talking to anyone. Three kitties, a bunch of deer, and a stray fox. We were just talking about foxes earlier today. We found a website where people actually adopt foxes, and they facilitate the actual adoption and reincarnation, not reincarnation, but reintroduction of the foxes, back into the wild once that they're healed up or whatever, the reason why they were brought in the first place. Tin Cat House. I'm not even sure how it happened. C for cat. It happens. It happens, and it happens pretty quickly too. I've been there. I've been there myself. Start off with 1 or 2 cats, and next thing I know, I got like 6. And I'm like, wait a minute, how'd this happen? Just keep on feeding them and keep on enjoying their company. My cat is not in here with me right now, by the way. He was earlier. He was asleep over there on the chair, but then he went to the door, was scratching at it, and I let him out. Okay, question 6. Who am I? I co-founded the Death Row Records, and now I'm doing time for manslaughter. Is it A, 50 Cent, B, Suge Knight, C, Nipsey Russell, or D, Eazy-E? Who am I? I co-founded Death Row Records, and now I'm doing time for manslaughter. Who am I? My sons and grandsons moved to Arkansas from here, in California in December. I'm not used to not having them around yet. 2 Yorkies, 3 Yorkies, and a Chihuahua mix. Little Red that I picked up at a gas station. That's cool. Tabby, isn't it? Did he say that Little Red was a tabby? Stephanie Fisher's going with D. Janice is going with B. I co-founded Death Row Records, and now I'm doing time for manslaughter. Long hair. That's cool. There's nothing like critter love. All of our pets they're not just pets, they're members of our family. We treat them just the same as everybody, humans, and they're all part of our family. We said no. I said no more pets, and as soon as I said we weren't getting any more pets, the next thing I know, my house was being overrun by cats. Then my wife's cat had kittens. She had three, the Siamese, but the Siamese showed up here. We think somebody abandoned her because she was already pregnant. Because nobody in this housing development or anywhere, had seen that cat before. Nobody knows where that cat came from. And there's only like 20, 25 homes on this area. So they're your kids. There you go. Purple's going with B. Cats aren't pets. We'll ask them. There are rulers. I'll have to agree with that. I got one cat who's every morning I wake up, before I even get my coffee, it jumps up on the counter in front of my coffee pot. So it's like, feed me. And it won't let me, actually reach out and grab the coffee pot. I have to feed the thing just so I can get to my coffee. It won't let me get a cup of coffee. It's like, feed me now. E. Philip Wilson. Everyone have a good evening. Going to try enjoying the Saturday morning live again soon. Well, Gayla, if you're taking off, you have a terrific week. Thank you for stopping in tonight. You take care. All right. Question 6. I co-founded Death Row Records. Now I'm doing time for manslaughter. The answer is B, as in boy, Suge Knight. Eazy-E was a member of NWA. 50 Cent, he likes to be shot. And Nipsey Russell, no. Suge Knight is the answer to question 6. Excuse me. Question 7. Charlie made me do it. Charles Manson, that is. I loved the family. And when Charlie told me to kill Gary Hinman, I did exactly what Charlie asked. My name is Bobby, however you pronounce that, Buisoli. What instrument did I play on Charles Manson's one and only studio album? Was it A, drums, B, banjo, C, guitar, or D, trombone? What did Bobby Buisoli, I'm guessing, how you pronounce that? I'm terrible at names. Play on Charles Manson's one and only studio album? Drums, banjo, guitar, or trombone? And what did I say? Trombone? I said it 3 times, didn't I? Tambourine. I can read. I can. I don't know how I got trombone out of that. Tambourine. Charlie made me do it. That album is on Spotify, is it? Beau Soleil is the pronunciation. Well, thank you, Amy. I don't know. Beau Soleil. Yeah. That album is on Spotify. E, the harp. Right card, that album on Spotify. A, C, and Stephanie's going with A. For question 7. Charlie made me do it. Good old Charles Manson. Charles Manson and the family. Yeah. I'm not to answer your question, Angela. I'm not allowed to say it. The answer to your question. You can figure out with what the word the for NWA what the N stands for, and this is with attitude. NWA. You can say the first part. Devil played the fiddle. That's why he had to play the tambourine. The tambourine. I'm here. Oh man, that definitely own me. Devil went down to Georgia looking for a soul to steal. Wasn't that Charles Daniels that sang Devil Went Down to Georgia? I think it was Charles Daniels that sang that song. That word is in all the rap songs. Yes, it is. I thought it was a New World attitude. Not quite. All right, Charlie made me do it. Charles Manson, that is. I love the family, and when Charlie told me to kill Gary Himan, I did exactly what Charlie asked. What musical instrument did he play on Charles Manson's one and only studio album? And the correct answer is C, as in cat, the guitar. He was actually he had I would say a great solo career. He was someone who kind of tooled around in the music industry, played some shows, was in a couple of different bands and and groups, and playing the guitar. But then he kind of he fell in love with the family and Charles Manson and all that, and he went that direction. But he killed Charlie Daniels was a great person. I know of his music. Cowbells. We all need more cowbell. I don't know where my cowbell is right now. I've got one around here. I don't know where it is. But question 8. I killed a man by accident and didn't even know about it until years later. I shoved a man off the stage during our concert. I never knew he died. Who am I? Is it A, Flea, B, Eddie Vedder, C, James Monroe, or D, Randy Blythe? Who shoved a man off the stage during a concert and the man died, but he didn't know about it until years later? Now, where is my cowbell? I was on one of these, probably on one of these shelves or the other. I boxed up a lot of this stuff because I needed to make room for more books. I'm eventually going to fill all these shelves behind me with books. Because I got so many more. I had to move my records from over there to the other shelf, so now I split between the two of them. Don't know any of those names. Well, Flea was in Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's the bass player. Eddie Vedder was lead singer for Soundgarden. James Monroe, I'm not familiar with all that well. You have too many books. Isn't that a terrific problem to have, though? You can't beat the written word. And I'm a firm believer in that. And having too many books, just think, even if you've read it before, and you read it a while ago, you can go back and pick it back up again, and you can read it again. And as long as you have that, it can't be edited. It's not going to disappear from your device. It's right there in front of you in your hands. There's nothing that beats the textile feel of turning the page from one page to another and watch your imagination go with the actual story. Inner peace. It was a mountain lion. Cement shoes. Do you want to tell everybody about the mountain lion statistics? I know. Cement shoes knows the mountain lion statistics. I have thousands of books on our library. I have 1,000 books on our library. That's cool. Problem, kids don't know how to use a dictionary today. They Google everything now, right? I love books too. The way they smell. Some days I kind of wish that I never would have left a rare book in manuscript field or closed my bookstore. But yeah, it's hard to sell books to people these days, especially when they have so many electronic devices and they think that everything that they ever need to know is right there on the internet. Sad. Kids can't spell today, so the dictionary is hard. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend mountain lions. They can't count either. Since 1915, only 14 recorded fatal mountain lion attacks in both U.S. and Canada. Thank you, Cement Shoes. I knew he Cement Shoes would know that one. Grisham has Grafton mapped politics, science, college texts. Have you guys seen True Crime Losers funny funny sounding and funny looking cowbell horn? The cowbell horn. He's got the one that's been on the wall behind him, but that's just like isn't that a bicycle horn? No, but to answer your question, no, I haven't, Reichart. I know he has that one on the extended thing that's in the background on the wall behind him. My granddaughter believes in books. She may Google it, but she would rather have a book. There you go. All right, I killed a man by accident and didn't find out about it until years later. I shoved the man off the stage during a concert. I never knew he died. Who am I? The correct answer to question 8, ladies and gentlemen, is D as in dog. D as in dog. He shoved the man off the stage and they rushed him away, but he never knew what the outcome was until they went back to, I think the band flew back to Germany or someplace like that where this happened, and they arrested him at the airport, and how he found out that the guy actually died. Recorded is a key word, Cement. I kept a statistic on my phone, so every time Barry Morphew came up, I could pipe up with that statistic. Thank you, Cement Shoes. I knew you knew the answer to it. All right, question number 9. The government will always get you, even if you kill them softly with your words. Who was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 3 months in jail? Was it A, Tina Turner, B, Nancy Spungen, C, Grace Jones, or D, Lauryn Hill? The government will always get you, even if you kill them softly with your words. Who was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 3 months in jail? Lieutenant RN's going with D. Smith Shoes is going with D as well. government will always get you, even if you kill them softly with your words. E. H&R Blockhead. He's got that he created to make fun of the silly criminals. Is that why he got the horn? No, either way. Why, Stiven? Why? Why? Hippie Chick. Good evening, Hippie Chick 74. Welcome to Music Crime Trivia. The government will always get you, even if you kill them softly with your words. Who was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 3 months in jail? See, Hippie Chick is going with D, Purple D, Janice D. Do we have anything? D, D. Everybody's going with D. I accidentally changed it from. I know I'm on the wrong question. I meant to scroll up and it scrolled backwards. All right, now it's on the right question again. The government will always get you, even if you kill them softly with your words. Who was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 3 months in jail? Ladies and gentlemen, for question 9, the correct answer is D, as in dog, Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill. Killing me softly. His words. Killing me softly. Question 10. This is the prize question, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you a second to look over the rules. Blah 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 blah. You must be a U.S. resident in order to claim the actual prize itself. Roberta Flack. Yeah. Roberta. I'll have to listen to some Roberta Flack later. But yeah, so there you go. You looked over the question. So you have 5 minutes from the time that I start reading the question, and then you can use anything you want. Google, shout out a friend, whatever means you can to come up with the answer to the next question. And the time starts as soon as I start reading it. If I get my mouse over to the other monitor, there we go. All right, 5 minutes. And your time starts now. Actor Keanu Reeves was co-founder of the band Dog Star with Brent Domrose, where he played bass guitar and sang backup. How many songs did he write for the bands Dog Star and the band Becky? It's a crime because he cannot sing his own song, and I will get into it more. Why? Amy, I saw Roberta Flack perform at the festival in your hometown. That would be super cool. She doesn't get enough respect for her music. But actor Keanu Reeves was co-founder of the band Dog Star with Brent Domrose, where he played the bass guitar and sang backup. How many songs did he write for the bands Dog Star and the band Becky? I use this time to stand up and stretch because I sit so much in this chair. But I'm still here. People always ask me, well, what do you do? for that 5 minutes? Do you walk away? Do you leave? Where do you go? And you'll notice at the top where my logo is on this question, I started putting the actual ratings from the different where these questions come from. This one is rated an 8.5 out of 10. 10 is the hardest, but it's rated an 8.5 out of 10. Interpeas would like to buy a vowel. Reichardt would like to phone home. Hippie Chick is going with 5. And smoke them if you got them. Did you know Keanu Reeves appears in the third SpongeBob Pants film? No, I did not. What is 8, Alex, says Stephanie Fisher. Dog Star. In case you're all wondering, the band Dog Star is no longer together. Missed out square. What? How many songs did he write for the bands Dog Star and the band Becky? Cement Shoes is going with 3. Keanu Reeves. In case you guys are wondering what he does with the rest of his time when he's not acting, or he owns a motorcycle company now that builds motorcycles, and they don't build like thousands of motorcycles. You go to him and they build a motorcycle tailored just to you, to your body shape, size, and everything. It's a complete customized motorcycle just for you. Most of them are like cafe racers and stuff like that, street bikes. But that's what he does. Amy's going with 10. Stephanie Fisher, I'm going to say he wrote all, but actually 0 because he used aliases. 20 seconds left. Lieutenant RN is going with 0. And that's time. Interpeas 3.14. Okay, nobody got it. Not even close. The answer is 48 songs. He wrote 48 songs for the 2 bands. The band Dog Star only released 2 studio albums. Most of the songs that are on both of the albums by Dog Star are written by Keanu Reeves himself, and that totals 23 or 24 songs on those 2 albums. But I'm going to move that cursor so you guys can see the rest of this. It says they only recorded a couple of albums, too, with both songs being played the last time live in Japan on October of 2002. After the show, backstage, the band voted to end their tour and split for good. The recording label, Zoo Entertainment, made a verbal agreement to sell the rights to the song to Keanu Reeves in 2004. They changed the price and then refused to sell them at all. locked away in a vault where no one will ever hear them. A lawsuit was never filed. Keanu nowadays refuses to play music except for special occasions, swearing off playing music for the last 20 years. Dogstar and the band Becky are grunge pop music. That was so hard. Very hard to find an answer in Google. Pi, 3.14. I knew what the 3.14 was. I got that far. But nobody got it. So the prize pool will roll over to next week. All right, question 11. Boy, were the 1960s strange times. By the grace of God, this artist became, because of his fame, did not have to serve a complete 8 year complete 8 years either. Years he was sentenced to for faking a drug prescription. Who was it? Was it A. John Phillips, B. James Brown, C. Eric Clapton, or D. Miles Davis? Boy, were the 1960s strange times. By the grace of God, this artist, because of his fame, didn't have to serve the complete 8 years either. He was sentenced to for faking a drug prescription. Did he use? Did Bus have a bomb on board? Did he ride in a bus? I don't know. We're all idiots. We should have typed 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Someone should have gotten to 48 in 5 minutes. Come on, guys. And I don't know if Dogstar rode in a bus or not. I mean, I get the reference to fast, but I don't think that they rode around in a bus like a poor band. They probably flew to all their gigs. I'm sure that they were all very wealthy. Of all the members in the band of Dogstar, there was 3 permanent members and 4 when they toured. They had a keyboardist that went with them on tour, but you can see some of the music on YouTube of Dogs. If you type it into the search box. Flunky just joining. B, C, D, B. Question number 11. Boy, were the 1960s strange times. By the grace of God, this artist, because of his fame, didn't have to complete the 8 years sentence that for faking a drug prescription. Who was it? Lieutenant RN's going with A, we have B, we have E, the entire Beach Boys. I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go. Yeah, wasn't Diamond Dave either. He's a licensed emergency medical technician. David Lee Roth is, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about. Diamond Dave. He's a certified emergency medical technician. Inner P's Afro Man. Cause I got high. I was gonna clean my room, but I got high. I was gonna pay my child support, but I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high. Yeah, da 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 da. All right, question 11. Who was sentenced to 8 years in prison for faking a drug prescription? The correct answer to question 11, ladies and gentlemen, is A as in apple. John Phillips. Yes, the father of um, Wilson Phillips. So that'd be Phillips is one or two of the girls from Wilson Phillips, but Beach Boy, all the same. But John Phillips, he ended up having to serve only 1 month on an 8-year sentence for faking a drug prescription. Was it Tim? No, it wasn't Tim. But John Phillips, A as in Alpha, Mackenzie. Wilson Phillips. I wonder what happened if they ever recorded any more music after the 80s and early 90s. I'll have to look that up later. All right, question 12. Bad charges. High on cocaine, this rock singer was arrested and convicted from making sexual advances on a 14-year-old young lady. He was granted clemency by President Jimmy Carter for his crime. Who did it? Was it A, James Taylor, B, Peter Yarrow, C, James Brown, or D, Chuck Berry? Oh, duh. Mackenzie should have pieced that one. One day at a time. I used to watch that when I was a little kid. One day at a time. Used to watch Alice, One Day at a Time, Sanford and Son, and Good Times. When I was a little kid, I used to go to when I was like in preschool. I don't remember this, but my sister used to tell me about it. Is I'd go to it's like preschool or first grade or whatever. I'd come home from school. My mother used to make a like a snack platter of saltine crackers with butter on them, or that um, Velveeta cheese stuff that comes in a block. I don't even, I don't. I'm not even sure if you can call it cheese, but I'd put it on saltine crackers and we'd watch Perry Mason, Leroy Brown, bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Did you know he's meaner than a junkyard dog? That Leroy Brown. Jimmy Carter was president. Well, no wonder. Cheesehead. And we're all from Wisconsin. But I don't think you can actually call Velveeta cheese though. But do they call it cheese? I'm not even sure. I haven't seen this stuff in years. So we ate peanut butter on Ritz crackers. There you go. That's actually good. Get that sweet and saltiness from the crackers. That'd be good. Night all, I can hardly keep my eyes open. You have a good night, Purple, and thank you for joining us again. Meaner than a junkyard dog. Peter, Paul, and Mary. Bad charges. High on cocaine. This rock singer was arrested and convicted of making sexual advances on a 14-year-old young lady. He was granted clemency by President Jimmy Carter for his my crime. His crime, not my crime. Okay. But what is the answer to question 12? The answer to question 12, ladies and gentlemen, is B as in boy, Peter Yarrow. Yes, of Peter, Paul, and Mary. That Peter. B as in boy is the correct answer to question 12. Question 13. Who am I? The police broke into my locked apartment in New York City while I was asleep. They said they found drugs in my apartment on a table. I was given a sentence of 10 months hard labor for this crime. Who am I? Is it A, Billie Holiday, B, Fancy Meeks, C, Nina Simone, or D, I think it's Faust? Who am I? The police broke into my locked apartment in New York City while I was asleep. They said they found drugs in my apartment on a table. I was given a sentence of 10 months hard labor for this crime. We have A. Jennifer is going A? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Hippie chick is going to go with B. Dennis is going with A as well. 10 months hard labor for possession of drugs. Boy, were these different times, huh? Amber Geiger. I think Amber's been doing a little too much. Or not enough. Lieutenant RN's going with A. Billie Holiday as well. E. Hippie chick is going to guess A. Billie Holiday. Who am I? The police broke into my locked apartment in New York City while I was asleep. Wouldn't that be a crime in itself? Can you just break into someone's apartment and then find evidence of a crime? I mean, that's a good question right there. They said they found drugs in my apartment on a table. I was given a sentence of 10 months hard labor for this crime. Wow. 10 months of hard labor for drug possession. Now, there are certain cities in the United States right now where they're watching people openly deal, and they are and buy and sell drugs, and they're not arresting them at all. But in this case, whoever this is got 10 months hard labor for possession of drugs. B was the last question, guessing A this time. Okay. What does hard labor mean? Back-breaking physical labor, Jennifer. If you think of like the Southern justice, the United States, chain gang, breaking rocks with a pickaxe, digging ditches, being forced to pick crops, do all kinds of things, back manual labor. Making license plates. Yeah, I don't know if that would be it. I love the Hulu movie they made about Billie Holiday. Prison. Oh, it's definitely prison, that's for sure. But 10 months hard labor for this crime. Who was it? Man, oh yeah, it was definitely a different time. And like I was saying, right now in certain cities in America, police they watch people openly deal and sell and buy drugs, and they're not arresting them. They catch people with drugs, they're just not charging them with it. Especially during the COVID, they weren't arresting people at all, just letting them do it. Now they do garbage pickup on the highway. Yeah. We have here where I live, the county, they have work crews that go out and they pick up trash along the highway. Certain sections of the highway, they go to parks and pick up trash in the parks and stuff like that. Only heard of Nina and Billy. Thought Faust was around thousands of years ago in Greece, like Homer and Aristotle. Our liberal police is at work for you. It's I think it's more of the people who are running the cities that pass down the ordinances and told the police not to prosecute or go after or look for these crimes. But all right, question 13. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is A as in apple. Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday was given a 10-month sentence for possession of drugs, and the drug was heroin, by the way. And she was sentenced to 10 months of hard labor for possession of drugs. Recent alderman here arrested for manufacturing meth cocaine, sentencing soon. Good. He laughed too long. Anti-drug. I have to tell you, I really enjoy your sense of humor. You make me laugh, and that is not easy to do these days. Thank you. You're welcome, Teddy. All right, moving on to question 14. If you want to sell drugs, the best ideas always come when you are high on your own supply. Who was arrested and convicted for conspiring to sell drugs to an undercover police officer? Was it A, Ozzy Osbourne, or just Ozzy, B, Billy Ocean, or C, Ike Turner, or D, Tupac? If you want to sell drugs, the best ideas always come to you when you're high on your own supply. Who was arrested and convicted for conspiring to sell drugs to an undercover police officer? Excuse me. Hey, Sketty Nona. Good evening. Welcome to Music Crime Trivia. And before we run out of time tonight, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I really would appreciate it. Greetings to all. Stephanie's going with Ozzy, Jennifer Ozzy, Amy with D, Tupac. You're welcome. My pleasure. Getting known as White Hearts. That's cool. And Scotty Nona's got the pretty kitty. Pretty kitty. Pretty kitty, 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 kitty. Lieutenant RN is going with A. Inner Peace is going with Afro Man. You guys got high. Ya da da da. Hippie Chick's going with C. Ike Turner. Regardless if it's Ike Turner or not, Ike Turner was a giant piece of excrement. The way he treated Tina. Man, if you want to read read up on a really rocky tumultuous relationship, read up on the things that Ike Turner did to Tina. It's disgusting. Sounds like C, Tina's hubby. Question number 14. If you want to sell drugs, the best ideas always come to you when you're high on your own supply. Violence and domestic violence towards Tina. Yeah, you definitely. And nasty man, says Jennifer Hill. Nasty is an understatement. But Ike Turner, not a very good man. Change to C, says Stephanie. Question number 14. If you want to sell drugs, the best ideas always come to you when you're high on your own supply. Who was arrested and convicted for conspiring to sell drugs to an undercover police officer? The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is C as in cat. Ike Turner. What a dumbass. Yes. Not only was he an abuser, but he wasn't that smart. And when he actually went to sell the drugs to the undercover officer, he was high on his own supply. Tells you just how bright the man was. All right. Question number 15. If you really can't stand another person on all levels, it's best to have a shootout with them during the day and with over 10 cameras watching. Who was convicted of conspiracy and perjury after just such a shootout? Was it A, Biggie Small, B, Tupac, C, Little Kim, or D, Snow? The Informer. Whoop, whoop. You really can't stand another person at all levels. It's best to have a shootout with them during the day and with over 10 cameras watching. Who was convicted of conspiracy and perjury after just such a shootout? Alec Baldwin. We got C and Little Kim. C. E. Frank Sinatra. D. Snow. I hope you don't remember Snow. I hope nobody remembers Snow. But that was his one claim to fame. Was the Snow's one claim to fame was the song "Informer." My bad. F. Frank Sinatra. In broad daylight and with over 10 cameras watching. You really can't stand someone on all levels. It's best to have a shootout with them during the day with over 10 cameras watching. Who was this? Talk about enough people different cameras watching. Not one, but 10. 10 different cameras caught this entire thing. And then after the fact, if in order to get perjury, you have to lie about it after the fact. Just such a shootout. Hippie chick is going with D, Snow. Hippie chick, I remember Informer, a leaky boom boom now. But he was legit, man. He had street cred. He was from Canada, where the streets are hard. Alpha Fam, good evening. Welcome. Welcome to Music Crime Trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week. All right. Question number 15. The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is C as in cat, Little Kim. This happened outside of a radio station. She got into her group, a posse, and another group, for another artist who was coming into the not the recording studio, but the radio station. They got into a gunfight there in the parking lot, and there was like I think 30 some shots total fired, but 15 hit some vehicles, some hit the building. It was insane, and you can find the footage online. I know like Radar Online and a couple other sites still have the footage. I don't know if it's on YouTube or not, but it happened in broad daylight. Thanks, all. y'all sad, but it was who popped into my head. No pun intended. You're good, Stephanie. All right, question number 16. When starting off in life, some people need a helping hand up. Who was arrested and convicted of stealing clothes out of a parked car in 1949? Was it A, James Brown, B, Slim Whitman, C, Doris Day, or D, Ricky Nelson? What year was it, Stephanie? I'm not sure what year it was. I, for some reason, in my mind, I would say in the early 2000s, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I like Lil Kim too. Duh. Before I was born. Who stole clothing out of a parked car in 1949? James Brown, Slim Whitman, Doris Day, or Ricky Nelson? Lawrence Welk. I mean, it could definitely have been Lawrence Welk. He was around in 49. Mr. Tiny Bubbles himself. My mom was 3 this year in 1949. Ricky Nelson. Starting off in life, some people need a helping hand or a hand up. Who was arrested and convicted of stealing clothes out of a parked car in 1949? Definitely before my time. Hippie chick is going with A, James Brown. Lawrence Welk stole from the back of a prom tux shops. Amy, my mom would have been married 1 year in 1949. B, I hope not Ricky. See, James Brown, that is what, funk, R&B. Slim Whitman, country. Doris Day, actress, singer. Ricky Nelson, early rock and roll, more pop-ish. You know, he was also Ricky Nelson was also an actor. He was on what Father Knows Best. I think that was the name of the show Ricky Nelson was on. Mine was one. Welcome, Juicy Jules. I knew it was Preston. Hi, y'all. Juicy Jules. Good evening, Juicy Jules, and welcome to Music Crime Trivia. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Well, Mel, hello, Mel, and welcome. Well, hello, Will and chat. I'm sorry for being quite tardy. It's all right, Mel. You can always watch these in rewind. They're on my channel. If you go to the actual tab for trivia, you can watch every one of the trivias from the very first episode to recently. You can binge watch them all. B, Banjo, says Juicy Jules. I think you're on the wrong question, Juicy Jules. We're on question 16 right now. All right, when starting off in life, some people need a helping hand or a hand up. Who was arrested and convicted of stealing clothes out of a parked car in 1949? The correct answer to question 16, ladies and gentlemen, is A, as in apple. James Brown was convicted of stealing clothing out of a parked car. The man he had picked up a suit from the dry cleaners and had put it in the car. And James Brown stole the suit out of the parked car. He was convicted of it, and paid a fine. I think he got, like less than a week in jail total for the entire thing. But he actually was convicted of stealing clothes out of a parked car. But that is the answer to question 16. Moving on to question 17. Come on, man. It was the 1960s, and I was a little wilder than some, but I wasn't that bad. I had to serve 9 months in a Texas prison for drugs and gun charges, but I made great music afterwards and before. Who is this? Is it A, Jim Croce, B, James Taylor, C, David Crosby, or D, Graham Nash? Come on, man. It was the 1960s. I was a little wilder. You can't see the word wilder because it's behind my actual, icon up there. Then some, but I wasn't that bad. I had to serve 9 months in a Texas prison for drugs and guns charges, but I made great music afterwards and before. Who am I? E. Bing Crosby. It's getting late here. I'm signing off. Jennifer, you have a good week ahead. Thank you for joining us tonight. Texas prison for drugs, gun charges, but I made great music afterwards and before. Who am I? Lieutenant RN's going with David Crosby. Jesse Jules is going with C. David Crosby. Question number 17. Thank you for being here. P.S. And thank you for the happy birthdays. You're welcome. I really hope you have a terrific year ahead. Let's get it in. C sounds right, says Jennifer. It was the 1960s. Hippie Chick is going with D, Graham Nash. Who was it? Who was it that went to prison for 9 months for drugs and gun charges? I'm going to see James Taylor next month. Number 2 on your bucket list. I've worked more on vacations this week than I have been at work. Sure glad to go back tomorrow. Right? That's the way it always seems, doesn't it? Whenever you take a vacation or you get a vacation weekend off, you end up spending more time working than you did working itself. I know that's the way at least it is for me. I've got a honey to-do list that's a mile long now. Start slowly getting some of the things crossed off though. All right, question 17. Who served 9 months in a Texas prison for drugs and gun charges? The correct answer to question 17, ladies and gentlemen, is David Crosby. C. David Crosby spent 9 months in jail in Texas for guns and drugs. Besides, we can only count on 2 things, death and taxes. That is true, Mel. All right, question 18. Okay, let's do this. I was higher than the Empire State Building. This fan jumped on stage and started grabbing on me. I pushed her away. She came back and started again. I socked her once and I got arrested for this because I got high. Was it A, James Brown, B, Ricky James, C, Jackson Brown, or D, Joseph Foreman? Okay, let's do this. I was higher than the Empire State Building. This fan jumped on stage and started grabbing on me. I pushed her away and she came back and started again. I socked her once and I got arrested for this because I got high. Who was it? Tom Jones. Oh, he's got some crazed fans. Tom Jones does. Crazed fans. I never understood some of the things that get thrown on his stage. E. Doris Day. Wrong one. We are at question 18. Yeah, da da da. Who was higher than the Empire State Building when a fan jumped on stage and started grabbing on him? He pushed her away and she came back again and started it all over again. He socked her once and he got arrested for this. Inner Peace is going with F. Afro Man. Says Inner Peace, Afro Man. Was it James Brown, Rick James, Jackson Brown, or Joseph Foreman? I don't qualify, but all of you do. So good luck, everyone. Who was arrested for socking a lady who kept on assaulting him? Yeah, I didn't understand it either. Steady Nona. Don't qualify. I was thinking of probably an autocorrect and spell correct. I don't know. Fan jumps on stage, assaults him, and he pushes her away, and she does it again. So he socked her, and then he got arrested for this. Who was it? Question number 18. Because I got high. Hard one. Guessing C, says Hippie Chick. You are officially qualified, Mel Stiller. What an experience that must have been. Now, there's video of this too, by the way. TMZ was the first one to air it. Surprise, surprise, right? Skettinona is going with B, Rick James. All right, question 18. Let's do this. I was higher than the Empire State Building. This fan jumped on the stage and started grabbing on me. I pushed her away and she came back and started again. I socked her once and I got arrested for this. Stephanie Fisher jumps in at the end there. F. Will Smith. Arrested for this because I got high. This is the correct answer to this is D, as in dog, Afro Man. Yes, Joseph Foreman. That is Afro Man's real name. Joseph Foreman, Afro Man. The lady sexually assaulted him, not once, but twice. And then he punched her in the top of the head to get her off of him. And he was arrested because the judge said, and he took a plea like no contest or whatever, deferred prosecution over it, because he said that the reason why he was prosecuting him because he was high. I was right by mistake. Yep. Joseph Foreman is Afro Man. All right, question 19. Because telling you about one artist stealing clothes isn't enough. This rocker was convicted of doing the same thing when he was 17 years old. Dumb reasons why, but he said later, it happened to me while I was drunk and broke. Who is this? Was it A, David Foster, B, Ozzy, C, David Cole, or D, Wilson Pickett? Because telling you about one artist who stole clothing isn't enough. This rocker was convicted of doing the same thing when he was 17 years old. Dumb reasons why, but he later said it happened to me when I was drunk and broke. Who did this? Oh, didn't know Afro Man's real name. Super windy in Arizona. Yesterday, here, correct, I live in British Columbia, Canada, an absolutely beautiful place. But Jennifer, yesterday we had 26 mile an hour sustained winds. We had wind gusts of 35 yesterday here. That was an interesting day. I was out gardening, in my backyard, and the wind it picked up. I thought it was like a tornado was coming or something. We never get high winds like that. I mean, and it just came on like that. According to the weatherman, that it was a front coming in. The winds were in front of it, and then it rained a little bit for probably about a half hour, and then the rain stopped and the wind came back. However, I was very late getting here and have only answered one question. Thank you. Just the same. Windy in California too. Stayed in all weekend. Ozzy can be dumb. I thought his name was Afro Man. Afro Man is his stage name. Question number 19. 17 years old, and he stole clothing when he was drunk and broke. And obviously, he got caught. Me 500. Jennifer D. Wilson Pickett. To some am tried. Who stole clothing at the age of 17 when he was drunk and broke? Later admitted it when he said that he was drunk and broke when he did this. Who is it? Keanu Reeves is not only very talented, but very humble and kind. I like some of his movies that he's done. I've never gotten into The Matrix. I like John Wick's. I've seen well, I think the first two. I think there's like a third one. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've seen the first two. First two John Wick's movies. All right, question 19. Who is 17 years old and dumb and stole clothing when he was drunk and broke? The correct answer to question 19 is B as in boy, Ozzy. Ozzy did it. He was given a 1 month sentence. He ended up having to serve 22 days of the 1 month sentence and pay a $700 fine. When he was 17 years old, he got caught stealing clothing out of a car. Same thing as James Brown. I guess don't put extra clothing in your car. I guess this is what we can learn from that, especially if Ozzy's around. Dee Parks. Hello, Will. I'm late to the game tonight. Oh, that's all right, Dee. You can always watch this and rewind. But thank you for being here. I hope you had a terrific weekend. All right, question 20. Make them come and get it. I'm not going to just hand them my money. Not the best thing to say in open court prior to being sentenced on tax fraud and not filing federal tax returns for years. Who said this? Was it A, Ronald Isley of the Isley Brothers, B, David Allan Cole, the country singer, C. Gary U.S. Bonds, the 60s singer, or Snow, the 80s rapper from the streets. Because Snow is hard, man. He's got street cred from Canada. Make them come and get it. I'm not going to just hand them my money. Barry Morphew. Mountain lion attack. Oh. Who said, make them come and get it? I'm not going to just hand them my money. Who said that in open court? And that's not exactly the best thing to ever say before you're being sentenced on tax fraud and not filing the tax return. And that would be federal court, by the way. This is not some minor little situation. We got A and a C. We got a B. And we have every one, at least one guess for each one. Who said in open court, make them come and get it? I'm not just going to hand them my money. Ghost, a human hunter. G. Jennifer's going with B. David Allan Cole, outlaw of country music. David Allan Cole. I got a couple of his albums down there. There's me. How are you? Who said make them come and get it? I'm not just going to hand them my money. Not exactly the best thing to say in open court. Question 20. Make them come and get it. I'm not going to just hand them my money. Not the best thing to say in open court prior to being sentenced on tax fraud and not filing federal tax returns for several years. For question 20, ladies and gentlemen, the correct answer is A as in apple. Ronald Isley of the Isley Brothers said that in open federal court prior to being sentenced for tax fraud and not filing federal tax returns. He said, I'm not going to just give them my money, make them come and get it. A as in apple. And that is all 20 questions. I hope you enjoyed tonight's trivia. What a dummy, Forrest Gump style. Thumbs up for Will. Please do. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'd really appreciate that. I'm doing not too badly. Thank you. Good. You can't help some people. They just blurt things out in open court like that. You never know. Yeah, thank you for being here. Don, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it immensely. It helps just everyone that gives it a thumbs up. helps the YouTube algorithm push the content to in the suggestion box, so it shows to more people, so we can get more people to join us. It's all how the system works. He was a full-time druggie. You missed the last answer, Stephanie. The last answer was A as in apple. Ronald Isley of the Isley Brothers said in open court prior to being, sentenced on tax fraud and not filing a federal tax return for several years. He said in open court, make them come and get it. I'm not just going to hand them my money. He knew what he was doing. He knew he was caught. Hello, young Will. Yeah, it's me. I'm back, full screen. Not my little window anymore. There's a lot of people who've done really dumb things like that. Made omissions in open court. I can't remember who it was. I was watching a video about somebody who they could not convict them of actual murder. They were acquitted on the actual murder charge, and but they were able to convict them on a series of other charges, and they were going to get 15 years or something like that for the lesser charges. And before passing sentence, the judge said, "Do you have anything that you'd like to add?" And at that time, the defendant had the option to plead, poverty or whatever, drug addiction, something that why they committed these crimes. But instead, the individual, I can't remember who it was, but admitted to a completely different murder altogether in open court. It's like, yeah, I know that I didn't do this, but I killed this person instead, something like along those lines. And then they had to go back and actually, look at the entire thing. Just like that Casey White, the inmate from that's missing with Vicky White, the jailer. He actually hand wrote out a letter though. He admitted to a murder for hire plot. The killing, can't remember. I think her name was Connie Ridgway. No relation to Gary Ridgway, just same last name, but they're no relation to each other. Ridgways. Quite the sham. Always give you a thumbs up. Well, thank you, hippie chick. I appreciate it. How did this thing? This thing moved again. It's shifting things, shifting the box over. So I don't see the entire thing right now. I wonder why it does that sometimes. And now it shifted back. Now I can see the whole thing. The chat box, where everybody's comments are. It sometimes it shifts over and then it shifts back. The whites. I don't know what the whites is, but I can't remember who it was that actually can. It was like it was a case that happened in I think the mid 1980s. He was convicted. They could not convict him. There wasn't enough evidence to convict him of the murder, but they were able to convict him for on a series of other lesser charges. But all of it together was going to get him 15 years in prison. And he just blurted out in open court, prior to them passing the sentence of 15 years on the other charges, that he admitted to another murder altogether. It was like, wow, you dumbass. Because it went away for 15 years, but now the person, I think they got life. They were able to tie him to that crime and actually convict him of that, the one that he blurted out to admitted to in open court. I'd have to look it up again. My mind gets so flooded with these cases. If I don't write down that's why I have notepads, all around me here, and all this junk, and like there's all these papers here and stuff like that, and then I have like clipboard with my highlighted notes for trivia tonight, and if I don't keep these notes, man, things just go. I lose track of, one homicide bleeds into another case because I read about this stuff so much, each and every day. I'm sitting and trying to keep, who was this murderer, especially if they don't refer to them by their name. It's like, do I necessarily put Ridgway, as the Green River Killer, or this person is the Boston Strangler or whatever, when in the media they refer to him by a name, the Boston Strangler, the Hillside Strangler, the I-90 killer. I don't necessarily make a connection anymore, with that name and who the actual person is. I'm like, okay, I know that person was was a serial killer, but I don't necessarily put all their different nicknames together. I no, I can't remember who, but remember. I go with I have no idea. The Wild Whites of the West Virginia, y'all. Velveeta is only cheese adjacent. Do they even use the word cheese? Are they allowed to? I know, like on certain candy bars, you're not allowed to use the word chocolate unless it has like a certain butter fat ratio. It has to have a certain amount of butter fat in the candy bar for it to be called chocolate. Is that the same way with cheese? You have to have so much dairy in it, otherwise it's not really cheese. You would think that would be the same way. And it's like I can't believe it's not butter. Well, you can call it that if you want, but it's margarine. It's just another way to, a nice gimmick around the fact that it's margarine. I don't recall. Yeah. You spend so much time, reading about these cases. After a while, everything is kind of blurs together. And some of them really stick out, especially when I get into like the horrifics, behind cases. They make them, pop in my mind a lot easier. But I'm telling you, if you just walked into my studio right now and you asked me, "Hey, can you tell me about Josh Duggar?" I got files back here on that SOB, and his family. They got a lot of research on Josh. And his case sticks out from all the other ones out there. The Reese's White Cups are not chocolate. Did I read that right, Peas? I don't recall. That too. I know a lot of like white chocolate doesn't qualify as chocolate. But they call it something else. But I do believe that when it comes to chocolate, though, it has to have a certain of butter fat or something like that, or chocolate fat or something in the actual product. Or it's not. Otherwise, they can't call it chocolate. Or maybe it's the cacao. It has to have a certain cacao level. It's one of those two. Maybe it's both combined. Goo. Go. It's amazing though. I'm trying to think some back when I was younger. Did it was my mind like this? I don't know. Sometimes I think if I need a vacation just to get away from all of it and stop thinking about it, that wouldn't help. Wouldn't help at all. Because even when I take a day off, I find myself reading about these cases even then. I do. I'm addicted to it all. I want to know the answer. White goo, and it's delicious. I like the what is it, the was it Hershey's, the cookies and cream white chocolate bar? Oh, those are good. I'm not much of a fan of sweets, but I'll buy one of those every once in a while, and then I throw them in the freezer so they, so it gets hard, and then I break it up in little pieces and just pop it in my mouth and suck on it, while researching cases or reading about them. Me too, Will. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight's trivia night here. I really hope that everyone had a wonderful time. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have a suggestion on, a different, a different direction to move it towards. If you don't want to do all music, maybe just do rock and roll only, or pop, crimes just in the pop, because I don't have a whole lot of these questions already that are left in the music and crime. I have ones that are just crime, and I have music trivia, but I don't have too much crossover right now. So here shortly, if not next week, I'm going to have to start actually researching ones in different cases, because a lot of these I have saved to the cloud server right now, and I just pick and drop and pull them and drop them into the slideshow. But I'm gonna eventually here have to either go one way or another, maybe all rock, maybe pop, or just keep it all the way it is now, where it's all music. But if you have a suggestion after the video, put it down in the comment section under the video afterwards. I'd appreciate it. But in the meantime, everyone, I hope you all have a terrific week ahead and stay safe out there. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. Country only, says Stephanie Fisher. There's a lot of country artists out there, especially in the outlaw country world, that you could do week upon week after week of just trivia on just the bad boys of country and girls. Don't forget about the ladies. The ladies have committed their fair share of crimes too. But had fun. Thank you, Will, and everybody. You all have a great week ahead. Thank you again, and good night.